like this idea of a 5 kind of foundational pillars. The way to think of it maybe is as what you're trying to do is give your system buoyancy. Right? Like you want to have buoyancy so that when other stuff hits, you're resilient. And that could be bacterial infection, viral infection, argument with your spouse, bad day, good day, whatever.
Okay.
You want buoyancy. There's no replacement for these 5 things. And I could say in no particular order, but let's just say, let's start with one that everyone needs to get sufficient amount of quality sleep most nights.
8 hours?
Some
6
people
hours?
need 5. Most people need between 6 and 8. Teenagers, young kids, let them sleep as much as they want. So for me, I need about 7 hours a night. I can get by on 6, 8 sometimes great. More than 8, I start feeling groggy. So try and get that most nights of your life. Nobody's perfect.
Okay.
Nobody's perfect and things happen.
Sleep,
Okay?
very important.
Sleep is very important. Try and make sure you're getting sleep. If you wake up in the middle of the night, use Reverie or NSDR or some other tool to help you get back to sleep. And we have a sleep toolkit at hubermanlab.com, completely zero cost. You don't have to sign up. You can just download it. It has all the stuff to help you optimize sleep.
Okay.
Sleep is number 1. Number 2, it is important to get movement, like about it, and ideally an hour a day of some sort of movement.
Okay.
If you're skateboarding, great. Walking's low key at a minimum, but you're trying to get some movement where your heart rate's up and your breathing
Vigorous
is up.
movement.
Yeah. So skateboarding could be many hours, but depending on, but an hour a day of weightlifting or running or cycling or Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, if that's your thing. Or,
Jump rope?
What's that?
Jump roping?
Jump rope is great.
So vigorous movement.
Get
Yes.
some movement. Get your heart rate up, get your breathing up.
Okay.
You'll live longer, you'll feel better. So many reasons.
Beautiful.
Cardiovascular health, brain health, so many reasons.
Okay.
So sleep, movement every day. If you miss 1 day per week, that's okay, but then get right back to it. Just figure out a way.
Okay.
Hotel room, doesn't matter. Could be burpees, could be jumping jacks, whatever.
Oh.
Next one, sunlight. Get some sunlight in your eyes, ideally in the morning. If you wake up before the sun comes out, flip on bright lights and then get outside once the sun is out. Just get as much sunlight as you can. Wear sunscreen if that's your thing. Some people do, some people don't, but just so don't burn, don't get skin cancer, but get sunlight in your eyes and don't stare at the sun.
Got you.
You'll know if you're staring at it too long because it'll hurt.
Nighttime, reverse that.
Nighttime,
Just
limit the bright light exposure. Dim those lights, maybe buy the inexpensive red light bulbs. And really the cheapest ones are great. You're really just trying to get dim red light.
Okay.
If you want to do red light therapy, that's a whole other discussion. Okay, so then it's sunlight is the third. Nutrition.
Yes.
Keto, carnivore, omnivore, vegan, vegetarian, whatever. Just try and get 75 to 80% of your food from non-processed or minimally processed foods. And if you can get 100% of it from that, great. But, you got to live life. Every once in a while, you got to have an ice cream cone, a slice of pizza. It's okay.
Chips Ahoy cookie.
You're not going to dissolve into a puddle of tears, hopefully. So that's really key.
Okay.
And then, of course, some people are overweight. They need to lose weight. Some people are underweight. They need to gain weight. Some people don't like to eat early in the day. I don't really like to eat breakfast. I'm more of a first meal around 10, 11.
Me too.
But today I knew I was coming here and I was kind of hungry because I went to bed so damn early last night. So I ate on the way here. Okay, so figure out what works for you. Then the next thing would be, so we've got sleep, movement, sunlight, nutrition.
Yep.
Social connection.
Social connection.
Just do what you can to make the interactions that you have online and in reality with friends, with family, as healthy as possible. And listen, I'm no psychologist, but I can tell you that sometimes the best way to think about it is, and this sounds really kind of woo, but whatever, I'm 47, I'm comfortable and enough with myself, I can say this. I believe as being as in contact with people as allows you to be in your most loving stance. And sometimes that means not at all, right? There's some people you just in order to continue to love them at all, you just cannot communicate with these people. Some people, because you have to communicate with them and it's a nightmare, you just try and make it as minimal as possible. Other people, you adore them, spend as much time with them as you possibly can.
Right.
I really mean that. Your friends, your family, your partner, whoever, your kid, if you adore them, spend as much time with them as you possibly can while not giving up your profession and your health.
Sure.
Right. And some people are more introverted, some people are more extroverted. It's just all of that, but quality social connection. And then I think the one thing we left out is hydration.
Yes.
Try and drink enough water, make sure you get enough electrolytes. That's key too. Once you have those things in place and I would list them out. I'd certainly list them out. And I'm just like, am I paying attention to these things each day? Because when I don't, I start to veer more toward the kind of high performance stuff. Because yes, get your cold shower, your ice bath. But if you're doing that, but you're not paying attention to your sleep or you're eating not well, well, then you're focusing on the wrong things. It's like those kids that can do like kick flips, but they can't push.
Right.
You know,
right.
like we know that, right? Or they just have no board control.
Yeah.
But they and you just know that's going to end badly, right? It's just not going to go well.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is your like push, slappy, your ollie up a curb. You know,
It's the basics of life.
it's just a
Dropping
basic. It's your
in,
front side grind.
Dropping in.
It's your dropping in, like until you have all that on a regular basis. Like the other stuff, it doesn't matter if you have like a clean kick flip. Like who cares? It's actually kind of dumb and dangerous to not have these things in place. And again, there's zero cost, right? So then once you have all that going as a regular thing, then you can start to explore. Okay, like, am I dealing with some specific trauma? Do I need therapy, or do I need to read a great book on trauma? Is Paul Conti's book, Conti. It's an amazing physician, psychiatrist, called Trauma. It's an amazing book, best book on trauma, hands down, where he talks about the different things, EMDR, all the different treatments, but that's the place to start. Read a good book. Ice baths, and you can we have tons of episodes about fitness. If you're not somebody who's familiar with weight training, you want to learn how to do that properly, just listen to the episode with Dr. Andy Galpin. We have a series coming out. We have newsletters. If you go to hubermanlab.com, these are completely zero cost. You don't sign up. If you can sign up if you want, but you can just access them there. It gives you an example of what a complete week of fitness looks like.
Right.
How to do deliberate heat exposure if you want to do that. Options for deliberate cold exposure if you want to do that.
Okay.
Options about supplements if you want to go that route. But those 5 things are your core of. They're going to give you buoyancy. I guarantee if you do those 5 things, pay attention to those things every day, there's zero probability that you're going to fail overall, right? Yeah. There's just no way. Your mental health and physical health is going to benefit. It's inevitable. The issue is that people start thinking about what's the magic solution. And the one exception to this is if somebody is so depressed or in a psychotic episode, or they're just so pinned down by trauma, that's when you really have to say, okay, there's some other intervention. And so we tend to get it backwards. We think when we're back on our heels, we need to fix the problem and then get forward center of mass. And these are actions and you do every day. And again, there's zero cost. I didn't invent them.
Right.
I'm just here to share them where I can.
I love it.
Hello guys, thank you all for watching this. I hope you have a good and a productive day. The advice is linked to the video, of course, like always, and it's about 2 major things in the video that you saw on Andrew Huberman. And it's about sleep and social connections. To say this before starting, every habit there is important. All 5 of them are really great. I highly recommend them. They are the basics, they are the starts. Anyone should master them. And let's start with sleep. And I chose these 2 habits because those 2 made my life a living hell. A short story, I was living with somebody who had really a bad sleeping schedule, Before meeting that person, I actually had a good sleeping schedule. I worked on it for a year and I was so happy with it, I slept about 7 to 8 hours per night and I was waking up on time, not even putting some bad alarms, 5 of them. I was needing just 1, and sometimes I was waking up before the clock is ticking. About sleep, I remember myself sleeping for 4 to 6 hours per night, waking up 20 minutes before, needing to get to work, and I was so lucky because my workplace was 5 minutes far, just 5 minutes of walking far from where I was staying at that time. And what I did was basically copy the bed sleeping schedule that that person had, because I was living with that person, I was seeing it every day, and some habits just come to me like a surprise, you know, like I was not even conscious about the things that I'm doing. That was a really bad thing, because you know, you can just not realize what bad things you are doing because you're so happy, but I was not realizing what bad habits I was having because I was so stressed, so depressed, so unhappy about things. I realized this later. Probably if I was living far away from my workplace, probably I was going to be late every day, because this happened every goddamn day. Remember something about me, I was basically a zombie at that point, you know, because on 4 hours of sleep and 12 hours of work, you can't function. It's not possible to function. The thing that I remember is I was waking up, dressing up real quick. I was not paying attention on what clothes I'm grabbing from the closet. I just need to grab something so I can dress up quick, go in the kitchen, drink at least 3 cups of coffee, so in my road to the workplace, I can wake up. This goes for like 8 months. Yeah, 8 months I was doing exactly the same thing. We can link this with the social connection that we discussed in this video, you know, because the bad habit that I was having comes from that person, you know, that I stayed with, and because of me, of course, because I was so weak and I was not able to resist, and I was not able to focus and solve things. I was not being able even to recognize I was having some bad issues. About social connections, be very careful with what people you spend your time, because if you are a weak person, and maybe you don't think you're weak, and actually you are weak, because I was not thinking about myself as a weak person, I was thinking about myself like a strong person. And after that I realized what a weak person I was in that time, because without even you realizing this, you just copy the bad habits that person have. And the most insane thing about this, you don't even realize you are doing them. You maybe have some flashbacks of your life before, you know, meeting them, and what things you did before meeting them, and maybe you feel bad for a couple of hours every day after doing that bad habits, but in the end of the day, you are not constantly thinking about it and thinking how you can change something. Yeah, for me right now, those two are maybe the most important things. And I remember myself waking up a few weeks ago at 8. And in the first part of the morning, I was so depressed because I usually wake up at 6. And the only thing that I was having my mind on was I just lost 2 hours of that day. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you like what you heard. Yeah, that's it. Manage your sleep, have good friends. And until I catch you in the next one, watch this video over here, because this one is a powerful one. Peace.